Okay, everybody. So last time I made the update on the Cabana here. I had mentioned the fan, and I had a feeling that or rather, I have a feeling that some of you just might want to see this in operation, and maybe get a test video. So I'm happy to do that for you today. You can see the fan is up there. For those of you who may be new, it's a four-bladed fan, thermostatically controlled, as you can see, and it's to vent this part of the Cabana. It vents this entire storage room. We got a window there by the snowblower, and then two here. I normally have them closed for now, but just for testing purposes, and obviously during the summer months, we'll have them open like this for ventilation. And this is the only vent that's in the room. However, my mom did talk to the roofing guy, and he did say that for the size of this room, I don't know the exact dimensions, he did say that this size fan was actually more than enough for this size of a room, and it pulls a ton of air. And just the fact of the vent being there, even when the fan's not running, air can move out of there. And that's something that the Long Island House Cabana never had, was a vent on top. But this one does, so that should be very good for it. Now, I did ask him about if there should be a vent over here too. Not a fan, just a regular vent. But he said, with the size of the fan and the size of the room, with these windows open, it should be plenty of airflow and things should be totally fine. So, when the fan goes, I'll move a lot of stuff, and it's a little windy today, so I'll see if I can make it as accurate as possible. But I have this piece of paper here where you can see I took it off the pad just beautifully, and I'm going to hold it against the window when the fan's going. And the piece of paper may be moving a little bit. It's a little windy outside today, but I can see if I can get accurate demonstrations for you. Now, I did test the fan maybe like a couple of weeks ago. It worked fine. It spun up correctly when I lowered the thermostat. It just had one problem, though, and I'll show you exactly what the problem was, but it was a very easy fix. And here we are, guys, up here at the fan. You can see it's a standard, four-bladed fan. The one on Long Island House is three blades. It used to be four, but I'll get into that a little bit later. And you can see, just for the record, if anyone's concerned about me putting my fingers by the fan, it's turned off at the circuit breaker here, okay? So there's no chance of this coming on, just so you know, okay? So don't be too worried. So what happened was, when the fan started spinning up after I, lowered the thermostat, it was smacking some part of this grating up here. And, I was like, well, that's a problem. But I'm glad I did. That's why I'm glad I did a test before this starts cycling regularly in the summertime and the later part of the spring. So when I turned the fan slowly, I looked for where the fan was hitting the grating. And it turns out it was right here, where that part of the fan, or rather where the grating meshes together. You see that section right there? So I didn't feel too comfortable with putting my hands up there at the time. So what I did was, I got this piece of flexible electrical conduit that the electrician had laying around, and I just went up here and I just started like tapping on, much more firmly than this, tapping on the metal grating, and then at some point it went out just a little bit and it kind of snapped into place. So it may have gone out of position or something when the guy was installing it, whatever, but I pushed it out, it snapped into place, and now as you can see, the fan moves beautifully. No obstructions on it whatsoever. So it's really good. This motor looks very similar to the one that Spatsbear and Emerson Collie and Holly Badger have. But hey, Emerson, how you doing? And but the only thing is, of course, don't see any oil ports on here. But I'm going to keep watching the motor and everything, do what I have to do. But the Long Island House, I think, has had a motor like this now for 12 years, and it still works fine. So yeah, and then that's all good. So all right, so what I'll do is I'll turn the breaker back on, and then we will get this fan going for you. And first what I'll do here is let me just, again, hold the paper to the window. It may get pushed a little bit in this part of the window. All right, not too much, but you can see how there's not too much air movement at the moment with the fan not going. This one actually just is going out a little bit. But you can see, even with the fan not running, there's three windows in here, so there's plenty of cross ventilation. Very good. And like I said, just having the vent there itself allows air movement. And yeah, not much of anything. Okay, so let's go and try this out. So put the paper over here. And here's the circuit breaker, fan feed. Turn that back on. Okay. All right. Now we'll go up and drop the thermostat. And this fan doesn't have much of a startup sound, but it sounds nice when it runs. So there's the thermostat right there. And let me hold this and the camera correctly. Got a flathead screwdriver here. All right, so there's the fan right there. And go to the thermostat. Okay, and let's drop it down. See, it runs very smooth. And it sounds very good, honestly. Now, I had mentioned that let me just get off the ladder here. I had mentioned that the Long Island house's attic fan has 3 blades. It used to have 4, but for some of you who may remember the roof replacement video in 2007, we had the fan replaced at that time. So then they got a new fan with 3 blades. And if I'm honest, the way this fan sounds, I think it sounds just like the original attic fan at the Long Island house did. So it could just be the same one. Who knows? But okay, now that the fan's running, let's get that piece of paper here. And oh yeah, you can definitely see a lot more movement now. Now that could be the wind a little bit, so I'll try the other windows too. Oh yeah, paper's definitely moving. Now, of course, this won't be as powerful as like a whole house fan, but I mean, it for what it has to do, it does a fantastic job. Yeah, I just love that sound. That's definitely the fan we used to have at the Long Island house. It's really cool to hear that again. It was a different hum back then, of course, but just great to hear again. Okay, and we'll go to this window here now. All right, this one's not. Excuse me. This one's not coming out as much, but oh no, there it goes. Again, I don't think this is wind, only because the wind kind of goes away from the window in this case. But yeah, you can still see that getting good airflow in here. So with these 3 windows open, the inside of this cabana, it'll still be warm back here in the summertime, but this is greatly going to help what it has to do, especially because there's actually a vent in here, whereas the Long Island house didn't have one. For the cabana, that is. The house has one. And yeah, like I had said before, drop the paper down there. Even though there's no vent there, I don't think I mentioned this before, that space above this wall is completely open on both sides. So that fan can draw air from here and bring it over to there and out the top. So this is also open to the fan, so air can move up here as well. So that's probably some better airflow, and probably why the guy said we didn't necessarily need a vent right there. And I'll just show you the vent from the outside. Let me go outside here. Yep, there it is right there. It's a little windy, so sorry for getting that noise, but yep, there's the fan. Nice size fan too. So yeah, some of you probably wanted a demonstration of this fan, and now you finally got it. So there you go. Now the fan is currently set to, well, not now, but it's running, but it's currently set to 90. So if we feel that it runs for too much, since this isn't really a living space, we could put it to 95 or 100, but 90 is a pretty good level overall, I think. Yeah, let me go up there and, you know what I'll do? Let's close this up. There we go. Now we'll go back up to the fan. And trust me, guys, even if your attic has a ridge vent, which is supposed to be really good, our attic has a ridge vent, but it also has sorry, let me slow down. This house here has a ridge vent, but it also has an attic fan, and the attic fan does a great job. Like, because it's good when you have something forcing the air, as opposed to naturally moving, which isn't bad if it naturally moves, but it's good to force some air out as well. And yeah, there you go. That thing runs beautifully. Okay, and we'll go ahead. There's the thermostat, and we'll bring it back up. So yeah, the spin down time for it isn't so bad, but I'll go ahead and put it back to 90 here. Yep, right there, perfect. All right, guys, and there you go. So now you got a demonstration of the attic fan and the cabana. Some of you might have wanted to see that from the last update video, and now you finally got to see it. So I hope you enjoyed. As usual, thank you very much for watching, and take care.